The sky in Satisfactory is beautiful. You see the sun during the day and the stars during the night. The light from the sun and moons help you see what you're creating on the planet. At night you can often see marvels that look like the aurora borealis. The colours up high range from deep blue to mysterious purple. It really is something that you can spend ages watching. It can also change how your factories look by casting different lights on it. But what if the sky wasn't there? So that's the challenge I have given myself. So I started off with some blueprints of 6x6 foundations, both as a ceiling and as a wall. The highest point of the map is where this uranium node is. There are some trees in the red forest that are nearly just as high, but not quite. Now I can build to the edge of the world, which, frustratingly, is not a complete square or rectangle around the outside of the map. Changing to blueprint mode doesn't work too well when the game is sped up, which is why I have to change it via the wheel mode. I'm using a mod to increase the speed. I'm creating the upper boundary of where the world border is. Sometimes it's a completely straight line for ages, sometimes it's only the length of a few 6x6 blueprints. Eventually I got all the way around the map and back to the start again. Now it's a case of filling in the blanks. It's very satisfying to see a section be completed, but then it's very disheartening to see how much there is to go. I am using the advanced game settings to give myself all of the resources I need, as well as being able to fly around. No way would I be able to do this without that. Because I saw how much there was to go, I realised I needed some help. I had a look at what mods there were available and saw some bigger blueprint designers, the largest of which is 22x22, which is at least 13 times the size of the 6x6. I also got the blueprint Zoop mod, which helped with the ceiling section, but it did cause a problem for the wall as it didn't keep the wall the same way around. Now, making the ceiling and the wall is going to be much easier and much quicker. Initially I didn't fully understand how the blueprint Zoop mod worked, but I eventually figured out how to use it. I also installed the Infinity Nudge mod as well. You can see here there is a very tiny bit of lag when placing these ceiling blueprints, as it's trying to place 484 foundations at once. There were some slight issues with the blueprint Zoop mod. Occasionally there were tiny gaps between the blueprints if you went in one particular direction. I worked around that though and got the rest of the ceiling created. I wanted to see what it currently looked like underneath. Because I used the coated foundations, there was a nice reflection of the world. You could see there the autosave caused a little bit of lag. It got worse as I built more. However, time to work on the walls. I attempted the zooping of blueprints, but like I said before, it would often flip the wall round, and this particular foundation is not the same on both sides unfortunately, otherwise the process would have gone by very quickly. I started off by making the wall only 2 foundations deep, just to see what it was like. I was cautious about getting nearer to the item limit of the game. It was around this stage that I installed the mod that means there are no world borders. If the zoop didn't work and was accidentally too long, then I'd need a way to remove the foundations. Unfortunately, the Satisfactory calculator would crash every single time I tried to save it. After completing the 2 layers of wall blueprints, trimming edges where the blueprint went over and realising that I hadn't reached the item limit, I needed to complete the rest of the wall. It was starting to get a bit laggy with the last bits. With everything done, I can see on the Satisfactory calculator that I have placed nearly 1.3 million foundations. All of the world is covered by a layer of coated foundation blocks. I was hoping to see some weird effects happen with the lights, but they happened in a way I wasn't expecting. I'm seeing what the light is like at different times of the day. In theory, this whole world should be pitch black. Maybe there would be some light from uranium nodes, and maybe the toxic gases could have some glow on it, but not like this. As I fly around, the world then starts to appear to be quite small. I don't know whether it's the fact that I'm flying around at 10 times speed, or whether it's the covering that is causing it. Flying around wasn't the most realistic way of playing the game, so I started to build some basic machinery to see if there was a difference. I didn't think there was anything too obvious, other than maybe a slightly higher contrast with the covering. I wonder though why that might be, and why the sun can make it through the foundations. One obvious answer is so that the world would always appear to be illuminated, no matter what was built. Some factories can be built on huge masses of foundations that could even cover a whole biome. It would then be too much to be expected to put lights everywhere underneath. Then again, that would be a good mod to play, if there is one. Comparing how the light looks in a cave may help with seeing if there were any differences. There is a slight difference, although not hugely. The video on the left is the one with the covering, and the one on the right is without. You can see that there appears to be more of a shadow with the one on the left with the covering, and the walls appear darker. You also can't see quite as far into the cave as clearly as you can if the covering wasn't there. As I fly around the world with the help of the flying manta ray, I can clearly see that this project was an absolutely ridiculous thing to do. It took me about 15 to 20 hours to complete the covering, only to find that it didn't change much about the lighting. Still, in some ways it was weirdly fun. It helped me discover some more mods for building to make things easier in the future, and overall it helped me stretch the limits of what Satisfactory can handle, although I bet I can stretch it further in weird and unimaginable ways. I've got some more projects to work on, and I was going to use this covered world as the basis, but it will create lots of lag and the game would get slow. At some point too, I would reach the item limit, which is 2 million, I think. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.